Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa McAllister, and you're listening to The Melissa Made Show. Now, for decades, I've dedicated myself to helping women break the cycle of dieting, navigate through all the fads, and change their lives through my nutrition coaching. Now, each week, I'm going to talk about everything from deep nutrition, mindset, self-care, the ideal workout routine, tips on how and why to implement intermittent fasting in your life, my favorite recipes that are not only crowd pleasers, but they're actually healthy for you, and so much more. Now, with small and consistent changes, you can defy aging while living a happier, healthier, and more heart-filled life. I'm so excited to show you it's possible with the right strategies that are so simple to adopt. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Melissa Made Show. So this is going to be fun. I thought since we have recorded 100 episodes, and I literally in my head can't think of 24, I thought to myself, how fun would it be since we're coming up on the 2-year mark? Crazy. So I've been working on it about 2.5 years, but it has officially been out and launched for 2 years. I thought, why not do a compilation of some of the more viewed topics that we've had. So all of the interviews that I've done, maybe a couple of my personal podcasts where something was really resonated with you guys, and just do a compilation. So here you go. This episode is dedicated to all of the wonderful people that have either asked to be on the podcast or have accepted my invitation. I hope you enjoy this, and let's get started. It's one of the many things I love about intermittent fasting is because I have 2 or 3 large meals a day. I get very satiated, very full, and that lasts me for several hours, as opposed to just having a snack where I feel hungry again in an hour. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not time to eat. So intermittent fasting can help with weight loss. It really helps reduce inflammation. And let me say this, that you always want to couple intermittent fasting with a cleaner eating lifestyle. If you're living on Oreos and Coca-Cola, your inflammation is still going to be there because you're not giving your body any nutrition whatsoever. But intermittent fasting has shown to help reduce inflammation, and that's awesome. We're talking about inflammation in your joints, inflammation in your heart, inflammation in your brain, everywhere.
Our bodies are so amazing and so incredibly resilient. However, we are being infiltrated by so many toxins on so many different levels every single day. Like I said, it's in our beauty products, it's in our skincare, it's also in our cleaning products that we're spraying. So we're also inhaling it in our lungs, and then not to mention pollution. I live in LA. The pollution here is insane. On top of that, we have issues with our tap water and pesticides in our food. So, and look, again, I don't list all this to scare you, just to inform you that unfortunately we are at a place right now where we are just being infiltrated from every direction possible, right? So we do need to have some things in place in order to support the detoxification pathways, because there is a threshold. There's always a threshold with everything in life, right?
So how do you build muscle and still burn fat? Lift heavy. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's one of the biggest missing key points that people are not doing. They're like, well, I'm working out. Well, are you lifting heavy though? Are you actually making your muscles say, I need to get stronger? Yeah. And that's where I think that's why, number one, that's why Lift 4 has worked so well over the years. And that's why Lift More is going to work probably even more better from this standpoint of it, because it's an extra day and they're longer workouts. And this is something I really want to do, is make this a very intense lifting program because of that right there. So if you're not challenging your muscles then to grow, then you're not building any muscle. You have to challenge them. And I think that's still a common key missing ingredient that people are not lifting heavy enough.
And reintroduction is just as important as the elimination of the potentially inflammatory foods. I want you to see what your body loves and what your body hates. So reintroduction is paramount, because you want to know, oh, maybe you did fine when you reintroduced 6 of those foods, you were fine. But the 2 of the 8 were problematic. So knowing those 2 foods, to take them out to keep your symptoms better and you to continue to heal your gut and keep inflammation levels lower, it's going to be a good thing. But you still have the flexibility of bringing those 6 other foods back in. So it's not demonizing those 4 or 8 foods. It's saying, these are potentially problematic, but because of bioindividuality, it may be a problem for you or it may not be. So be your own N-of-1 experiment and really lean into intuitively checking in with your body to see how these things make you feel.
Watch what types of fats that you're getting, and work to build that up. If you might have a diseased or a low functioning gallbladder, I want you to check with your doctor. But ox bile salts are really good for people that don't have a gallbladder or have one that's not functioning very well. There's lots of supplements out there that can help with, if you have your gallbladder, to help decongest it and stuff and make it work better. But if it was taken out, number one, I'm sorry. Number two, you need things that will help you digest the fat, emulsifiers, and you can get some enzymes and ox bile salts to help you, but don't skip the fat because you think now that you don't have a gallbladder that you shouldn't eat it. You absolutely should. Brain health, hormone health, cell health, great skin, hair, all that stuff.
It's really interesting right now because my whole next thing is around powerful aging, and I'm choosing that word very specifically. Number one, because as we lose muscles, we age, we lose more strength, and the most we lose is power. But also because women in general, their whole lives, they're taught to become smaller, to shrink. And I'm like, let's take up space. Let's step up. Let's be strong. Let's be powerful. Oh, you might ruffle feathers and threaten some people. Do it with kindness and love, but, like, stop playing small.
But you've been working with your special education classroom and it could have been me, but I just remember once it was me or somebody else said, I feel so sorry for them. Oh, no. And you were like,
no. They taught me way more than I could ever teach them. All children have a specialness about them that makes that will endear them to you, and concentrate and be positive and be affirming to everything that child can give. And there's not a child out there that doesn't have something to give you.
I think it's so important to have offerings that just go to the patient, say like, okay, we are specialized in universal preventative care. We know all these things and we make sure we have you covered. And I think that's kind of the big opportunity we want to capture with Serenity, because I think a lot of people kind of wisen up on the whole thing and understand, okay, this is something is not right here. And they're totally right about it.
Yeah, this is the absolute epitome of why you hear the quote of it's sick care versus, healthcare, preventative care. If there was one thing that you could pinpoint that you have seen as just the biggest misconception of living a healthy lifestyle today, is there one that just kind of sits on the forefront of your mind? Like, yeah, this is just, we need to change this thinking.
Well, that I'm too ill, I'm too disabled, I can't recover. Or that I've been told that your disease is a progressive illness and you're gonna have to take these terrible drugs. We can slow it down, but we can't stop or reverse it. Like, oh my goodness, we always have things that we could do that could shift our current living daily habits into a slightly more health promoting habit.
Starting with a smile, that's the starting point for kind of elevating every part of your life. So what I find, you might find the same thing too, Melissa, because you deal with this all the time as well, is once someone starts to make one change, one positive change, it sort of trickles into every part of their life. So, now they've done a smile makeover, now they've worked with you on nutrition and health. Now they're looking at other parts of their life and what can I improve here or there? Every part of our life is connected. So, I say we do cosmetic dentistry, but we're really in a business of building confidence, because it just goes hand in hand so much. I see it all the time where we've completed a smile makeover and, now people are confident to date again. They're confident to apply for jobs. So it really, especially for women in the aging process too, at every phase of their life, just improving confidence is so helpful.
So there's benefits of spending time in nature, and not just for physical health, but also for mental wellness. So activities like, the walking is great. And I'm telling you what a difference it makes for me if I walk outside versus on my treadmill. I hate it when the weather's bad because I'm going to try the above and really try to make a ritual with walking on this walking pad versus just making it a routine because it's not really enjoyable for me, but walking outside is. And so I think when you're outside, if you can do whatever you can to get outside, if you're, you work out at home or you're a gym goer and you really just don't do anything outside, man, I want to encourage you to.
What is a not ideal diet? People are stressed out that reach over and buy the ultra processed foods and just start snacking on them all day long. That grows extra body fat. Eating midnight snacks. I can't sleep. I'm going to go down and I'm going to take something, a slice of something out of the fridge and wolf it down. Now you've just screwed up your metabolism and you've loaded on some fat building stuff usually to your body. So as it turns out, this research has shown, it's not that you're born with a slow metabolism. Your metabolism is hardwired to only go through these 4 stages. But if you actually add extra body fat, grow extra body fat, that extra body fat sits on and crushes your metabolism. So it's the other way around. It's not that a slow metabolism is your fate, and so you have to always struggle with food. It's that if you're not careful about your food choices and you grow extra body fat, it's fat that will slow your metabolism. Completely the other way around.
I am very, very lean, and I do attribute it to just that simple walking every single day, how and the strength train, but I've always strength trained and I've always eaten well, but it's literally the walking that has just made my body let go of, any extra pounds that I had, and it is keeping me pretty lean. And it's so good for me mentally. I mean, that is my absolute my time. And you said that you've had such positive results since you started walking too.
It's so underrated. Like when I was in my mess, I'd be like, I have to sweat and I have to run. I'm running for like PRs. Like I'm 36 years old. Like, why am I running for a PR to see how fast? But I was just so like, now I just walk. And like you said, I've been walking without AirPods, which is another like next level. I used to listen to like a podcast or something, but it's like just be in nature. It's like meditative. I come back to my kids, just kind of grounded.
Epigenetics help everyone. Once we discover what's going on at the DNA level, control the way our genes behave and function, the way they express themselves inside our body. Now, another thing I would like to explain so that it will be even more simpler for everyone, epigenetics is sits at the intersection of genetics, nutrition, environmental factors, and also how diet, micronutrients, exercise, but also sleep and stress can all change the methylation and again expression of our genes.
If you really struggle to stay committed to something that you want to do for yourself, that you want to make a habit, that you want to learn to enjoy, start with one thing and give it time and really learn to adopt it. They say it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. I've heard, different schools of thought on whether or not that's true, but why not give yourself a couple of weeks of drinking the certain amount of water that you want to have in a day, or join me and have a cup of green tea every single day, or to take a 10, 15, 20-minute walk every single day, but start with one thing. When you start to compile these commitments, it seems daunting and it's a lot. And if one thing goes, then guess what? The next thing goes and the next thing goes. So don't make too many at once. I would say never do more than 3. But if you do struggle to make any sort of a commitment with yourself that you keep, start with one.
Fasting is very analogous to working out or to sleep. Like it is a behavior that we do that our bodies really respond well to. And the reason that they respond so well is because it triggers, very much like working out, it triggers something called a hormetic stress. And this is where when you put the body in a little bit of discomfort, it actually adapts favorably. So working out is a perfect example. You hire a trainer. If every time you showed up to that trainer, it was an easy workout, you'd probably give up after a while. You'd be like, no, yeah, that doesn't really work for me. But that's because they didn't push you or stress you. And that's what fasting's doing, is it's creating this nice little bit of positive stress on your body's forcing your body to heal.
It's really important to get this right for women. So a guy does intermittent fasting, he drops 15 pounds, he feels amazing. Everybody's like, oh, good job. Women, you need to listen to your bodies. So if you're trying to have a baby, if you're less than 40 some years old and you want to optimize reproductive system, you don't want to do longer fasts. You want to make sure you're nourishing your body and getting in enough of what you need. And Stephanie Estima does a great job of, this intermittent fasting with cycling and really focusing on giving your body the nourishing foods that it needs right before your period and when you ovulate. But in general, every woman should be abstaining from food at least 12 hours a day.
And that is the crucial difference, that in functional medicine, our interventions are more than just medication. And so knowing that information, there's actually a lot of action we could do about it. Whereas in conventional medicine, there's kind of like, well, you have antibodies. What am I going to do for you? Nothing. So that's the difference.
But the farther we get away from our ideal body, the harder it is, the louder that food noise is. And it's not just a simple, just eat less and exercise more. So why are people against someone that has struggled on and off with their weight for most of their life to now finally get a hold of it by using a tool that we know is super safe and super effective, especially when done right? Like the judgment needs to be taken out of it. You wouldn't hear this if someone needed to be on thyroid medicine or to help their thyroid function or to get on blood pressure medicine. So why the judgment?
You got to set those goals, and I want you to write them down, and it doesn't hurt to reverse engineer them or to put them into smaller goals as well. What are you going to do? Are you going to weigh yourself once a week? Are you going to take measurements? Are you going to commit to doing a strength training program? Are you going to walk? What are you going to do to make sure that you hit that goal, which is not gain weight, could be to lose weight, could be to gain muscle. Only you can set that goal, but you have to be very prepared to work at it, because it's just not going to happen if we're not making the effort every single day to hit that goal. All right, you guys. So what did you think? I would love to know somehow, some way on Instagram, in the show notes, on YouTube, which guest resonated with you the most? Which quote, which comment made you go, oh, okay, that's life-changing? Because I know there's one in there. There's one in there for you that made you go, goodness, I needed to hear that, or I needed to hear that again. So I hope you really enjoyed that. Thank you guys so much for being here for well over 100 episodes now, well over 2 years. It's a labor of love, like I always say, but I appreciate that you are on this journey with me. And as always, I hope you wake up feeling prepared and go to bed feeling proud. Have a great day. Wow, we've reached the end. But before I leave you, I'd love to hear from you. After all, it's not every day that someone reaches out and asks for your opinion. And to me, your opinion does matter. So please share this episode with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Melissa McAllister. And until next time, thank you for being your own health advocate.